All right, fam. So we're back. This is John chapter 13 that we're getting into today. If you've been following along with this John series, I appreciate your time. Thank you for rocking with me. But if you're just joining me, then I suggest that you go ahead and check out the other videos, the previous videos in this series before you get to this one, because there is something that I'm walking you through. I'm taking us through something because there is an order of things in the scriptures, right? There's nothing that's just by chance with the Most High, nothing in his script. And even in the scriptures, right? Says where word script comes from, where scriptures come from, they go hand in hand, as you can see, right? Then you should be able to understand, what our Father is doing. All right. It's like being an actor. We are actors in his movie, in his story. And what do actors get prior to filming? They get the script, right? Well, the Most High doesn't give all the actors in his movie the script, but he does give his script to the select few, to his chosen children, right? In order for us to be able to look into it, look ahead, and to be able to know what he's planning to do, what he has done, what he is doing, and what he is planning to do. And all these things are supposed to allow us to understand him better. And so understanding the order of things in the scriptures, the way they unfold, also helps us to understand him. Now, if your mission is pursuit of closeness and oneness with the highest, with the Father, then you got to know what he's up to. You got to understand his mind and his business, like Yahweh Shai did, right? Yahweh Shai knew the Father, not the way we know him. He knew the Father. The Father spoke directly to him. He saw the Father, right, face to face. He had an intimate relationship with him. So we knew him. All right. In our time and for us, our jobs is the pursuit of a relationship with our Father and with Yahweh Shai. And that happens through the scriptures. Okay. Through prayer, all of that is necessary. So you want to know the Father's business. You want to know what he's up to. He's getting you ready for godhood. He's trying to bring you into oneness with himself and Yahweh Shai, trying to make you of his mind. So that means walking through the scriptures in this way is necessary. I'm trying to condition you to to have a different relationship with the scriptures than the rest of the world. Otherwise, you know better than the Christians or the rest of the world. If you have the same lens, the same viewpoint, the same way you read, the same way you understand, you study. All right, there has to be things that set us apart from the other people. We know this. We're supposed to be a set apart people, right? Well, even in our studies, in our relationship, we're supposed to be set apart. We're supposed to be different. All right. So this is what this is about. All right. So again, join me. All right. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. So John chapter 13, you see the subject at the top, the Lord's Supper, right? All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Verse 1. Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Yahweh Shai knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them until the end. Now, if I could, like I would highlight, well, I can't highlight it, right? And capitalize, put it in all caps, but I can't do that. The word before here, because that's critical. Remember, nothing for nothing, no filler words, no throwaways. All right. Even through the translations and all that, the Most High still made it so that we would get the wording that He wanted us to have, to get the understanding that He wanted us to have. All right. So we are not missing the critical things of the scriptures, when you walk through the scriptures via the spirit. But it's easy to miss stuff when you're just using your own carnal mind to understand the mind of the Father. All right. So before the feast of the Passover. All right. So it's setting the scene. This is what happens in movies, in the script. All right. It sets the scene. He wants to put you in the mind of time and place. What's going on in the story? What's the backdrop of the story? All right. You've ever read a story and it said it was a dark and stormy night. before it gets into whatever else it's going to talk about. Why did it start off that way? It's for the same reason. See, this is the formula that people of the world learn from the Father, from our book. Okay, but why emphasize before? Because Passover is about deliverance from death. Okay, and Yahweh Shai is about to die. Why? So that Israel can be delivered from death. So Yahweh Shai couldn't be delivered from death. If he was, then we wouldn't be delivered from death. All right. And also remembering that what? Yahweh Shai is the lamb, right? But all right. Exodus chapter 12, right? The lamb is slain. Blood protects judgment. I'm sorry, blood protects us, and judgment passes over us. I had to get my thoughts together. My brain was scrambling for a second. All right. That's what we read in Exodus chapter 12 when we read about the Passover. And we know that Yahweh Shai, that the lamb that our people had to kill as part of the Passover meal, that was symbolic of Yahweh Shai. Okay. So John is telling you that this is happening just before the greater Passover. And spiritually, this is significant because the lamb is about to be slain. Deliverance is about to be activated, and judgment is about to move. That's what's being communicated. All right. But here's the deeper layer, right? Is that when Yahweh Shai knew that his hour was come, that statement stands out to me. All right. Because of another passage that we know of. All right. Let's go to Matthew 24, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Matthew 24, verse 36. All right, Matthew 24, verse 36 says, "But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." All right, but my Father only. Okay, now what is this? What is the point? This point is to show you how the Father, he has things in his own mind set, for how he's going to do things that the rest of us aren't going to be privy to. Not even Yahweh Shai was privy to everything that the Father would do. He kept some stuff for himself. Okay, he kept some things for himself. All right, so I just wanted to refute the 100% truth and all-knowing perspective of some Israelites that not even Yahweh Shai knew everything. He didn't know of the hour when the Father, he doesn't know of the exact time when the Father is going to send him back for us. No one knows that except Yahweh, except our Father. Okay? And this point here in John 13, where it says, when Yahweh Shai knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world. Why does it say that? Because he didn't know before exactly when the hour was upon him. At this moment, at this time, this is when he understands. He said, okay, at this time, now I know, okay, now is the time the Father's about to move, because the Father communicated it to him in the time when it was necessary for him to know it, not before. This is my point. The Father will hold stuff back for a time until the time comes when he's ready for you to know. So he'll only let you know what you need to know until you need to know what you need to know. Okay? This is the point I wanted to hammer home with this. All right? So, there's no contradiction. So, he did not know the day of his second coming, right? But here, the Father revealed the timing of his death, though. So this shows order. That's what I want to show. Order. The Most High is all about order. And you can't usurp him. You can't go around. You can't try to, find out another way. No, you have to respect his order, like Yahweh Shai did. He respected our Father's order. Okay, so the Son moves only when the Father reveals. We can only move how and when the Father reveals to us when to move and how to move. And obedience is moving accordingly and not trying to fight him the way Jonah did. All right. So, this aligns with, John 5:19. Let's go get it. Then answered Yahushua and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. Remember, Yahushua was the example for us to follow. And he's saying that he himself, who is greater than us, he could do nothing of himself, which means what? We can do nothing of ourselves. All right. And he can only do what he seeth the Father do. Because, like a good son, he paid attention to his father and learned how to be a man and how to be a God and how to be in general from his father. Where are we supposed to go in order to learn how to be like our father, pleasing to our father? Where do we go? We go to the scriptures. All right. This is for us to be made like him. Instructions in righteousness to become like himself. You can only learn how to be like him through the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit giving you the understanding, unlocking, you know, the wisdom that is in the scriptures for you to have. But like we just read before, you can only you can only get what he give you. You understand? And you can only utilize what he has given you until he give you something else. Then you have to utilize that. And then what you do with that is like a relay. All right. You go like a relay of thoughts, a relay of wisdom. All right, here, I'm going to give you this. All right. And now you run to this point and then you hand it off. Can you guess where I'm going right now? That's what happened with the law of Moses. All right. It was like a baton. It was like a relay race. The law of Moses was only supposed to be in effect for a time because it was supposed to do something. It was never meant to be everlasting. It was supposed to do something. It was supposed to get us from one point to another. And that point is when Yahweh Shai came. That's when it all was supposed to change, and we're no longer supposed to be following the law of Moses. That's why I was talking about how the law was meant to be like a schoolmaster until Yahweh Shai came. And then the law is supposed to cease from being what it was unto us after Yahweh Shai arrived. So why do many Israelites still cleave to the law of Moses and Yahweh Shai has already come? You see, these are the things that you can obtain in wisdom through the scriptures, through the Holy Spirit, and only when it's time for you to receive them. Only those who are meant to receive it will receive it, and they will only receive it when it's time for them to receive it. Other than that, it's not time for you yet. I know there are more things and deeper things in the scriptures that I don't understand yet. I don't know. He hasn't revealed them to me yet. In due time, he will or he won't. That's his business, right? All right. So, order. You disrespect the Father when you disrespect his order. When you claim anything is possible or anything exists that is contrary to his order, that's contrary to himself. And so you can find yourself in a horrible predicament if you're trying to make the Most High a liar. And you make him a liar when you claim that you got all the wisdom, all the truth, all the knowledge, all the understanding. Blasphemy. Okay, that is absolute blasphemy. All right, so perfect obedience and perfect timing is what we're supposed to learn through Yahweh Shai. All right, everything in due season. There's a time for everything. All right, as we are told in Ecclesiastes, right? So when we come to John 13, verse 2, but wait, before I move on too fast. He says, his hour was come that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world. You know what that tells me? That not everybody in the world are his. But God so loved the whole world. Not everyone in the world, as in earth, are his. He doesn't claim everyone as his own. The scriptures never say that everyone on earth are his people, are his children, are beloved. Never says it. That's Christian doctrine. But this is the New Testament, and it's anti-Christian doctrine. Having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart, the mind of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. So we know the heart equals mind, right? Like I just said. And spirits move men. That's what you're supposed to get from this. That spirits move men. We are governed and surrounded by spirits. People are being moved by spirits, good and bad, for good and bad. That's the Father's plan. It's the Father's way. That's how he set it up. So you have to use your discernment in order to find out what spirit is leading someone, what spirit is on or in someone. All right. But you have to have this basic understanding of this principle first. As his children, we got to understand spiritual matters, right? That's why, again, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? Let's go get it. Let's go to Ephesians 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, right? When it says but, it means only. That's the reason why we're not supposed to be taking things personal regarding people. And this is a hard thing to do unless you have this understanding. This is how Yahweh Shai was able to endure what he endured. And then while he's on the cross, he prayed and said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Because he understood this. That's how he could be godly and obedient in his spirit and properly intercede for Israel, lovingly intercede, knowing that they aren't really responsible for what they're doing. They're being led. They have been corrupted. They have been co-opted by spirits, by principalities, by powers, right? By the rulers of the darkness of this world, by spiritual wickedness in high places. All right. So discernment should be turned on all the time, because why are you walking around in this wicked world without your spiritual discernment turned all the way up? You should be terrified to walk around outside, walk around in this world without your discernment all the way up. Stop walking around through life carelessly. Remember the scripture that talk about it says you careless daughters, right? He gave a warning to his careless daughters. What did it mean by that? Because they're walking around with no discernment, with no understanding. They're lacking wisdom. So they're carelessly walking around through this earth, subject to anything and everything, unable to guard themselves against the true enemy, against the true dangers that lurk. The true dangers are lurking in the spiritual realm, and then they manifest here. Okay? That's how it works. When I'm out and I see, maybe a homeless person or something like that, a person who is suffering from mental illness, I understand that mental illness is demonic possession. So I'm cautious around those people because I understand that's a demon, or demons are inhabiting that individual. So I'm on guard. I know certain mindsets come from demonic possession or comes from angelic influence, godly influence, Holy Spirit influence, walking around with wisdom. This is how we have to move as his children. Okay? So this here in John 6 and 12, it also, makes me think of um an account in First Samuel. Let's go get it. Let's go to First Samuel 16, verse 14. Oh, I forgot to turn my volume off. Pardon me for a second. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. First Samuel chapter 6, verse 14. But the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai departed from Saul. The Most High can give you his spirit for a time and for a purpose, and then take it away when he's done utilizing you for his purpose, for his good purpose. Because then when he's ready to use you for a bad purpose, he, not his spirit, it doesn't happen through his spirit. That happens through what? And then evil spirit from Yahweh troubled him because it came from him. Yahweh sent him that evil spirit. All right? That's what'll happen. He took away his spirit and then sent him another to get him to accomplish what he needed him to do in the next phase of the movie, of Saul's role in the story. All right. So people are just vessels, some for honor, some for dishonor, right? Romans chapter 9, anyone? All right. But here's the heavy point, right? Here's the heavy point. Let's come back to John 13. All right. Yahweh Shai, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from the highest, and went to the highest, he riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. Now, see, this makes me think about Yahweh Shai being in the heavenly realm with the Father, and then having to lay aside his heavenly garments, his spiritual body, in order to come down here in human form to come save us. And what did he do? He took a towel and he girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Okay, so yeah, remember, so this is, again, it says Yahweh Shai washes the disciples' feet. Disciples, all right? Meaning all of them. Okay? Why am I highlighting all of them? Because remember, who was also a disciple? Judas. So that means Yahweh Shai washed Judas's feet also, which means he did what? He also served him. And what else did he do? He gave him opportunity. All right. But yet prophecy must stand, right? So, you know what what happens next has to happen. Okay, so when we come down to then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Peter was like, what in the heck are you doing, Lord? He feels like he feels vexed and offended on behalf of Yahushai, who is doing the deed. That sounds like many Israelites who are offended on behalf of our Father, who is the one doing the deeds. Okay, but real quick, I want to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Verse 13. Consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? Because it's his story. He creates the characters and what they're going to be like and what they're going to do, and you know what I'm saying, how their story is going to begin, unfold, and end. Judas was necessary. He was baked into the story by the writer, the architect, by our Father, for the purpose that he had to serve. Everyone around you is serving the function that the Father wants for them to serve in his story. Don't never forget that. This is supposed to help you deal with this human experience better, deal with your relationships with people better. All right? Many people are vexed because of their lack of understanding of the truth. Okay? So when we, if the Father ordained Judas's role, not even Yahushai can override it, right? And that's sovereignty. But we're coming up to that part. I just wanted to put that in your mind, so as we come to that part, your brain can already be thinking about where I'm taking you. All right, I'm just giving you a glimpse of where we're headed before we get there. Why? Because this is what my Father does. You see how that happens? How that works? And again, this is me just flowing in the spirit. All right. I give you a snapshot of where I'm going before we get there to increase your understanding and your learning. Our Father gave us all of this wisdom. The scriptures are here for our learning. The things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. All right. So again, the washing of the feet, right? This is not hygiene. All right. This is spiritual symbolism. All right. Water, all right, being the word. Yahweh is washing his disciples through the word. This is how we get clean, through this word. You can't be made clean outside of this word. All right. And so again, that makes me hearken to Ephesians 5. Verse 26. That he might sanctify. Well, let's come back to verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. That's what's going on here. It's a physical representation of us being cleansed by the word. Remember, because who is Yahushua? He's the word. So the disciples are being washed by the word. Right? Okay. And so again, let's go back to no, I don't want to go back anywhere. So the washing of the water by the word, right? And so what is he washing? Dost thou wash my feet? Washing their feet. All right. Feet are used for walking. All right. Used for walking. All right. Because Yahweh needed to wash us for our walk through this truth and through this life. All right. But when we let's go to Psalm 119, verse 105, it says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet, okay, and a light unto my path. Now, the literal word is a lamp unto our feet. The written word, it lights our steps. It shows us where to walk. We know where to step, where not to step, which way to go. We can see because of the word. Well, we can see because of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is a lamp unto our feet. He is a light unto our paths. All right. So he is cleansing their walk through his teaching. And that's what he's doing for us now. So he says, let's come back down. Yahweh Shai answered and said unto him, what I do, thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know after. See, Peter is a disciple walking with Yahweh Shai, but yet he didn't understand everything. He had to wait until the knowledge of why Yahweh Shai was doing this would be revealed to him, but it wasn't given to him yet. He didn't have it at the time. So in his zeal, he was offended on behalf of his king for what the king was doing himself, right? It sounds like foolishness because it is. All right, but look at verse 8. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahweh Shai answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. So, meaning, if you are not cleansed by my word and spirit, you are not mine. Why not say that if you are not cleansed by the law of Moses, if the law of Moses was the route to salvation and everlasting life? He didn't. He spoke of himself. If you are not cleansed by my word, not by what Moses said, if you're not cleansed by my word. Why? Because you couldn't be cleansed by the law of Moses. You couldn't be cleansed by anything Moses said, Aaron said, or any of the priests said. That wasn't the way that you would be cleansed, that we would be cleansed. It was never meant to cleanse us. Otherwise, if it was, Yahweh Shai came and died in vain. There was no purpose for it. So what you're saying is that there is no purpose for Yahweh Shai's coming and him dying, and that the Father was an effing idiot by sending his son to die for us, and it wasn't necessary. When you say that the law of Moses is in effect, that's what you're saying. Be careful what you're saying. You see how dangerous it is to be following these people pushing the law of Moses, because they'll have you saying stuff that you don't realize you're actually saying. They'll have you believe in things that you don't even consciously understand that you believe. They'll have you holding on to a position that makes you anti Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right. So if you are not cleansed by my word and spirit, you are not mine. And so what happens? Peter overreacts. All right. Peter overreacts. Right. He overreacted before and he overreacted after. Okay. When he says, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? He overreacted. That was an overreaction. And then the overreaction again came afterward in his zeal. All right. In his zeal. All right. So Yahushua had to tell him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. All right. Because Peter, he represents zeal without full understanding. All right. So now Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. You see, that's his overreaction after the fact, right? He couldn't just let the Lord do as he wanted to do. If he wanted to wash your hands and your head, Peter, he would have done it. If it was necessary to wash your hands and your head, he would have done it. But he only did your feet, which means what? You're supposed to know that because that's what he did, that's what was necessary. What am I getting at? Many Israelites don't understand this aspect, right? So when I'm constantly teaching you guys that if Yahweh Shai, who came to save us, didn't say anything about, you know, it being mandatory to follow the law of Moses for salvation, that means it wasn't necessary. If he didn't say anything about don't eat this, don't eat that, that means it wasn't necessary. And we're supposed to know what was being communicated without being said. Okay, he didn't tell us. He came to tell us everything the Father told him to say, but he didn't say nothing about food. That means it's not necessary. That means it's not important. So why are we, simple-minded creatures, making a big deal out of something that we're not supposed to be making a big deal out of, because Yahweh Shai didn't make a big deal out of it? So why are we? Why are we overreacting in this truth? Because that's Israel, right? Being just like Peter. Zeal without understanding. Okay? Verse 10, Yahweh Shai saith unto him, he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. Ye are clean, but not all. So this is a direct prophecy about Judas. All right? Spiritual principle. Some walk with you, eat with you, hear truth, but are not clean. It's like I know there are some who follow me. They listen, they watch the videos. All right, so that means they break bread with me and they hear the truth, but they're still not clean. All right, and so this connects to um First John, what is it? First John chapter 2, I believe it's verse 19. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. So what is that hinting to? Temporary discipleship. It is possible to have temporary discipleship. It's possible to have a little bit of information that you are given. It's possible to have the Holy Spirit, for the Most High, to put his spirit on you, cause you to prophesy, give you some knowledge, some wisdom, and some understanding for you to do a certain job, complete a certain function, but it was never meant for you to make it to the end with him. It was never meant for you to continue to walk with him always. No, you were supposed to walk with him for a time, like Judas. Judas is um that instruction in awareness that you can walk with him for a time and then cease from walking with him during another time. It's the knowledge that just because you walk with him now don't mean you will walk with him always. He can utilize his enemies, give his enemies some wisdom, and then depart from them and let the evil spirits come upon them to send them into or spin them into whatever is next for them. This is what you got to know. And because I know this, I pray all the time that this never happens to me. Because I know this is what happens, this is what he does, I know to pray for this not to happen for me or to me. And I know to pray and give thanks that it hasn't happened to me. See, if you don't properly know him, you don't even know what to give thanks for. You don't know what to ask for in prayer because you don't know him. You don't really understand the scriptures. You're not properly terrified of what could be. All right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom because you lack the fear of him. That's why you don't have the wisdom. So you have a partial understanding. You have a limited understanding of, of the truth. All right? For his purpose. So, you know what I mean? For whatever his purpose is for you, that's the reason why you have the measure of wisdom that you are given. Do you know how to recognize if he's withdrawn his spirit from you? Can you feel it? Can you tell? Right? So, again, this Judas story here tells us that there are people who sup temporarily but are not elect, fam. This is why you have to be careful about this walk and who you listen to. I know you can be listening to these people and you can be in awe of what they're saying. Oh, they seem wise and look at the wisdom. And oh man, I love the way they handled those Gentiles on the street corner. And oh man, look how he's handling the word like an expert swordsman. And you can just be in utter awe watching and listening because you lack wisdom. You don't have enough wisdom to know what you're looking at and what you're seeing. And you don't understand the fact that these people could be given over to evil spirits, or the fact that they could be um, being used right now for a good purpose, but they are not in the Most High's plans for the elect, the redemption of the elect, though. They can be teaching, they can be waking Israel up, they can be um, calling out Esau, calling out the wicked, and be the wicked the whole time. All right. So this aligns with Revelation chapter 3. All right. Revelation chapter 3. When it says in verse 20, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me. All right. So some sup for life and some sup for exposure. Some sup temporarily. They are never meant to make it to seeing the promises. All right. That's why it's important to guard who you follow, guard against who you follow and what spirits you allow to influence you and to lead you. All right. So Yahweh saith unto him, he that is washed needed not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, ye are not all clean. Okay? Ye are not all clean. He already knew ahead of time, but yet he still chose Judas to be a temporary disciple. There are many people out here right now in this walk who have chosen to be, I'm sorry, not who have chosen, but who were chosen to be temporary disciples. Okay? So when we continue on, it says, for he knew who should betray him, therefore said he, ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done unto you? Look what happened. All right. So he's done washing their feet. Now he had taken his garments. All right. And to me, this helps me to understand that this is like symbolic of Yahweh Shai being glorified again, putting back on his spiritual body. All right. And then what? Sitting down again at the right hand of the Father. He said unto them, know ye what I have done unto you? Now he's going to talk to his disciples again after sitting back down with the Father, after, being glorified again, to start speaking to his disciples. That's what he's doing to us right now. That's our experience right now, is him after he had taken up his garments, sitting down again And now he's talking to us, and he's ready to let us in on secrets. Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. That is a commission. Okay? That is a commission to be like him, to wash one another, to teach one another this word. That's the commission I take seriously. All right? If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. If ye know these things, because he knows not everyone would know them. All right. But it's one thing to know them and another thing to do them. He says, happy are ye if you do them, to show you that knowing without doing is fruitless. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me. All right, remember, so that's Psalm 41 and 9, right? Lifted up his heel, right? And lifted up his heel is symbolic of violent betrayal. All right. So in ancient imagery, lifting the heel is striking like a horse kick. All right. So spiritually, taking nourishment from truth, then using that position to attack truth. Many do that. All right. They hear the truth and learn the truth, and then they try to use the truth to attack the truth. Huh? I know it sounds crazy, might sound confusing, but trust me, it makes perfect sense. And that's what many do inside of this truth. All right. They try to use the truth to attack the truth. It's wickedness, all right, of highest order. All right. So, but that's deeper than disagreement, right? That's rebellion. That is absolute rebellion. Verse 19. Now I tell you before it come, that when it has come to pass, ye may believe that I am he. Right? I tell you before it come. All right, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen before it happens, so that when it does happen, that will stand as the proof that I am who I say I am. Right? So again, this aligns perfectly with um, Amos chapter 3, verse 7. He says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophet. All right, he will do nothing unless he first reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Yahweh Shai was a servant of our Father, and he was a prophet sent by our Father. Right? Now I tell you before it come, so that when it come to pass, you may believe that I am he. If he doesn't tell you before, that means it isn't from him. All right? He only does things after he warns, after he tells his servants, the prophets, he's going to do it. Okay, so stop letting people convince you of things that are not of the Most High. You can't go find it in the scriptures. Go find the prophecies that verify what they're saying. Go find the scriptures that corroborate it. All right. So the Father reveals beforehand in order to strengthen faith, in order to remove doubt, and to establish his credibility. So if someone claims a move of the Most High that's not spoken of by the prophets, it's false. So Yahweh Shai follows his father's pattern. Exactly. That's what he does, right? When Yahweh Shai had thus said, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. He was troubled in the spirit because he understood it was that time. All right. But what's also the point to get from here is that when our Father is about to move, right, and it's about to be something, that could be bad, right? You will get trouble in your spirit. You have to learn how to pay attention to your spirit, because all of a sudden you'll get trouble for something and you won't know why. You'll start trying to figure out, well, is it this? Is it that? What's the reason for this? You start praying, Lord, did I do something? What happened? Why am I going through this? What's happening to me? What's this about? Are you upset with me? It's a sign of something is impending. And so, yes, the best thing to do is to go pray, go talk to him and see if he'll reveal it to you. If you belong to him, he'll let you know. Um, he'll give you a heads up on what's coming. And so Yahushua understood with that troubled feeling that he had, what it meant. That's why he said, verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. All right. Then the disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Yahushua's bosom one of his disciples whom Yahushua loved. Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. Follow this. All right. He just told everybody somebody's going to betray him. All right. Peter asked, this other disciple, hey, ask Yahushua, who's he talking about? Then he lying on Yahushua's breast saith unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahushua answered, he it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. So he told them what to look for in order to recognize the person I'm talking about. All right. All right. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. So he told him what to look for. Then he did it. All right. So what is a sop, though? Let's go into interlinear. A sop. He gave Judas a sop. What is a sop? Sop is a fragment, a bit, or a morsel. Right? Here it says a crumb or a morsel or a mouthful. So he gave Judas a fragment of food, a fragment to eat, a morsel to eat, a crumb to eat, a mouthful to eat. Right? That's all Judas got. Judas only got a sop because he's an enemy. He didn't get the whole meal. He didn't get to eat fully like everybody else did. He only got a sop. See, because our Father he can use you like Judas, but if you are a Judas who he is just using for the time, but you are not meant to be one of his, remain one of his, and receive the benefits and the rewards of those who belong to him, he'll only give you a sop, a small portion of wisdom, of knowledge, and of understanding. All right? And then look what happens. Look what happens. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Right after the sop. So what else is possible? That right after he feeds you and gives you the wisdom, the knowledge and understanding, then Satan can enter into you and take over. And that taking over can be giving you a little wisdom, waking you up to being an Israelite, and then give you some other little wisdom, and then you go out there teaching falsehoods. Have you out there doing evil work, lying, sighing, and crying the whole time. All right. Then said Yahushua unto him, that thou doest, do quickly. Okay. So again, this is deep, right? Because he gives Judas a small portion. Judas received proximity. He was allowed to be close to Yahushua for a time, but he didn't receive the fullness. He got a crumb of revelation, not a full meal. All right. And this, you can contrast with Psalm 23, verse 5. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. He prepared a table, a whole meal, but it's talking about a spiritual meal. All right, because that's what we're eating constantly, a spiritual meal from the Lord's table. This is the Lord's table we're eating from. But Judas couldn't eat from the table. Judas had to be given a sop from Yahushua, then he had to get gone. Yahushua wasn't sitting there feeding everybody, right? He didn't give everybody a sop. He didn't hand feed everybody, but he gave Judas a little bit and then told Judas to go ahead and kick rocks now. Go on and get moving. Go ahead and do your wicked work. Go on and do what you got to do now. That's the danger. That's what you're supposed to be scared of. So you know to pray that you don't get the Judas experience, that you are not having the Judas experience. All right. So the elect get the table. Judas got a bite. All right. Then Satan entered into him. So once his role was activated, the spirit took full control. All right. That's predestination activated. Predestination on full display. Right. So that thou doest do quickly. So the script must move forward. All right. The Father wrote it. The Son executes it. So even betrayal advances redemption. It's part of the story. All right. So not something that's supposed to trip us up. Okay. It says, no man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto him. So they asked who was going to betray him. He told them what to look for. Then he showed them what he told them to look for, and they still missed it. They were still clueless. They still had no idea what just took place with Yahushua and Judas. Showing you even the disciples could be warned, can be told, can be instructed on what to look for, and then still drop the ball, still take their eyes off of what they need to be looking at in order to understand what's going on. Don't take your eyes off what's happening, Israel. Pay attention. We are told what he's doing. We are told what he is going to do. So watch for it. If you watch for it, believe it when you see it, when it matches what he told you to look for. Don't get caught off guard when you were warned of what to look for, because you know it's possible. It happened with the disciples. Don't let it happen to you. All right? So I want to come down to verse 34. He says, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. So not only did he give us a commandment to love one another, he told us how to love each other. He says, in the same way in which Yahushua loved his disciples. That's how we're supposed to love each other. So I try to love you guys in the same way that Yahushua loves me. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples. This will be the stamp. This will be how everybody will know that you belong to me, if ye have love one to another. All right. A new commandment, love one another, not worldly love, right? It's covenant love. It's sheep love. This identifies the elect. Okay. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. Verse 36, Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Yahushua answered him, whither I go, thou canst not follow me now. Why did he say now? But thou shalt follow me afterwards. When is that? Whether I go? Where was Yahushua going? Right? We know he was about to die. And then go where? Back to the Father. Wait a minute. So he's saying the disciples are going to get to go to the throne room of the Father. They're going to get to join him in the throne room of the Father. That's what he just said. All right? To the Father. All right? And so John 14, right, will clarify that. We got John 14 coming up next, right? You see, that's why you got to follow where things are going. I'm telling you, there's an order. to the scriptures. All right. Yahweh in verse 3 he says, and um, let's come back. In my father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. Wait a minute. If it were not so, I would have told you. So Yahweh Shai is saying, uh, if it wasn't so, if this wasn't true, I would have told you what the truth is. I wouldn't leave you clueless and wondering if we could die because of what we eat, if we can lose salvation because of what we eat, or because of not obeying this feast day or that feast day, Yahweh Shai would have told us. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also before the Father. What he's talking about. All right. So his disciples will get to go with him to the throne room of the Father. And that connects with Revelation 14, verse 4, that says, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Wherever the Lamb goes, wherever Yahushua goes, the bride can follow. The elect, the 144,000, will go with him. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. These were redeemed from among men. These follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Sounds an awful lot like Revelation 3, verse 10. All right. The message to Philadelphia, the church of Philadelphia, the church of brotherly love. That's how they're going to know that you're mine, when you have love one to another, when you brothers are loving each other. Philadelphia, right? It's the reason why they call the city Philadelphia the city of brotherly love. This is where they get it from, fam. But verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Wait a minute. How do you keep someone from something that's coming on the whole world? By removing them from the world. They're going to the throne room with Yahweh Shai. They're going to heaven, where our Father is. All right. So John 13 and 36 is seed language for that promise. Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. Yahweh Shai answered them, will thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. See, Yahushua already knew that Peter would deny him 3 times, but he still chose Peter to be the head of his church. Still chose Peter to be his right hand, still knowing that Peter would deny him thrice. See, Peter was flawed. He wasn't perfect. All right, but still he was chosen, because the Most High doesn't choose us because we're perfect. All right. So 3 times, but why 3 times? Because if you are used to, me by now, then I'm going to ask this question, because I know nothing for nothing. Why 3 times? Why not twice? Why not once? Why not 7? Because 3 equals completion. It's a witness pattern. All right. Examples like 3 patriarchs, 3 feasts, right? 3 3 feasts that that's a whole nother lesson. I can get into that later, right? Jonah, right, in the belly of the fish for 3 days. So Yahweh Shai was 3 days in the earth, right? So Peter's denial represents complete testing, all right? Complete exposure of weakness, because he has to show us who we are, all right? And then build us up. And sometimes he has to make you ashamed in order to build you up. That's part of it. It's to shame you, to make you feel bad in order to strengthen you and to change you. All right. That's why when you go to John 21, right? Remember, he denied him 3 times, right? He denied him 3 times, and then you come to John 21, and let's see. And here in verse uh 15. So when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord. Thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. All right. In verse 16, he saith unto him, Feed my sheep. Verse 17, he says unto him again, Feed my sheep. Right? But look, up here it says, He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? Why was he grieved? Because Simon knew his betrayal. And so he felt convicted and he felt ashamed for it. But that shame was purposeful. All right. It wasn't just to make him feel bad. All right. So, all of this shows you that even the elect stumble, but they are restored. Judas fell permanently. Peter fell temporarily. That's the difference. Okay. So this chapter was about timing, right? Hour being revealed. Sovereignty, right? Judas's role. Cleansing through the washing, right? Partial versus fullness, the sop. Prophecy fulfillment. Love among the sheep, brotherly love, right? Future glorification and testing of leadership. Peter's leadership would be tested, and he would be made a better leader through his testing, through the shame. He would grow and become the kind of leader that would be required. Okay, so this is a transition chapter. The public ministry is closing, and the intimate instruction begins after. All right, so John is moving from signs and miracles to internal covenant formation. That's what's happening here in John chapter 13. You see, there's an order, a method to it all. It's not madness. It's not happenstance. This is just not men writing the book and deciding to write it this way and do it this way. No, this is the Most High's doing. And don't ever forget that. All right, I pray that you guys were all edified. I'll see you guys on the next one, Yahweh willing. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I love you, fam. See you guys on the next one again, if Yahweh is willing. Each one, reach one. Shalom.